two were not. And they were like, what is that? You don't want to know. So I did. Actually, I went through a bunch of commentaries and picked a short, nice one. Short and sweet. That that was as much as I got into after this week. But so Brad's claim is away, and the other one's away. So it was just
Mine is good. We had my daughter came in, Deborah came in, Michigan.
Michigan.
She was here for 4 days, and she left yesterday. Lori and I are just exhausted. Really are.
You want her alone or with kids?
With her partner.
Okay.
Kids are in college.
So, but, you know, be careful what you wish for. When they come, you want them to come. You can't wait for them.
I know.
I tell everybody I had a glorious empty nester.
We are finally. It took us
Well,
longer
you're
than it
relatively
took
new
everybody else.
You mean I'm relatively new?
How long have they been gone?
You're kidding. How long are you an empty nester?
Well, I mean,
For a
Michaela moved
while.
out when she was 16 because she went to the governor's school.
Right.
And Sophia moved out at 15 because she went to the governor's school.
What's the governor's school?
It's a residential high school here.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's downtown and it's a state school and it's residential. And there's
So
a,
it's fine arts?
So we have, in the state of South Carolina, we have 3 governor's schools. The arts here in Greenville,
math and
math and
science.
science down near Columbia, and then Clemson now has agriculture and animal husbandry.
Because Brad was looking into the math and science one, but he wasn't quite ready to move that far away. If it had been here, he would have.
So the biggest difference, though, is that the kids here in Greenville have a town they can visit. They have things they can do. Down there,
Well, that's why, that's what Bradley said, why would I?
Wait a minute, I
It's in
went
the
to
middle.
college in Columbia.
No, it's
No,
not
it's
Columbia,
not
it's in the
Columbia.
middle of nowhere.
where it's near Columbia.
It's in the middle of nowhere, so Brad was like, and I would want to go there, why? So, anyway.
Well, college scholarships.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna have an abbreviated service and get it over with. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Right on, well, actually, you're 2 minutes late.
Oh.
Jewish time is okay, right?
Jewish Standard Time.
Okay, it sounds like this is on, so I'm gonna use this. How's that? Oop. I don't need the step. Okay. Did somebody come in, or is that Harold? A bulb. Oh, okay. Well, his spirit is in the room. So we're not quite there, but we're hopeful. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Correct. We're a min and not a minion. That's okay. We're fierce. We may not be large, but we're fierce. Okay. Let's turn to page 5 for Shalom Aleichem. I need to hear you because we're few in number. Okay. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech,
Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We already have our candles lit. Thank you, whoever did it. Thank you, Donna. Excuse me. All right, page 11. And we will chant this one for a change. 11. Hello, Harold. Shabbat Shalom. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, nikadma fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nidma fana betoda. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Excuse my froggy throat. I have an outline, but she gives us options, so it's there's flexibility here. Page 14 at the middle of the page, and in the Hebrew, and then we'll switch to the English. Okay. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, umla'o, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam, Yeram hayam umla'o. Let's read responsively, I guess, on page 14. Wait, I'm sorry, 17 to 18, which is the end of this. Page 17. Sing a song to Adonai, a new song, for Adonai has wrought wonders. God's right hand and holy arm have brought deliverance. As nations looked on, God's righteousness was revealed. God dealt faithfully and kindly with the house of Israel. The very ends of the earth saw our God's saving power. We continue on the next page. Sing to Adonai, to the music of the lyre, and voices making music together, horns and shofar cries. Trumpet the presence of the sovereign Adonai. Let the sea and all that is in it roar, the earth and all who inhabit it thunder. Let rivers clap hands while mountains sing in harmony, greeting Adonai who comes to judge the earth, judging the world with justice and the nations with truth. Very good. Page 20. At the arrow at the bottom. Ramimu, Ramimu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu lehakadsho. Ramimu, Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu lehakadsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Ramemu. Okay. Let's read responsively on page 21 in the English. A Psalm of David. Mizmor David. Acclaim Adonai, children of the divine. Acclaim Adonai with honor and strength. Acclaim Adonai with the honor due God's name. Bow before Adonai in the splendor of the sanctuary. Thunders over the waters. God, glorious thunders. Adonai over the grand sea. The voice of Adonai with all its power. The voice of Adonai with all its majesty. The voice of Adonai shatters the cedars. The voice of Adonai forms flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. The voice of Adonai makes hinds calve and strips forests bare, and in God's sanctuary all acknowledge the glory of God. Great job. Okay, page 23, Lachadodi. And because I'm the leader, I get to choose. Let's do the first two verses on 23 and the last two verses on 25. How's that? Lechadodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishme'anu el cham yuchad. Adonai echad ushmo echad. L'shem ol tiferet v'lit hila. Lechadodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuvenelcha. Ki hi mekor ha-bracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'makshava tachila, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. And we turn to page 25. Yamin ushmol tifratzi, v'et Adonai taritzi, al yad ish ben parzi, v'nismecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Harold is ready. Please rise, and we'll bow towards the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtzala, toch emune am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Thank you, Harold. I guess the Shabbat bride is in. Okay. Let's turn to page 28 in the middle of the page at the arrow, please. Sadiqa Tamar. Yes, Tamar. It is. We think of you every time. Tzadika Tamar Yifrach Ki Erez Balvanan Yizkeh Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechasrot Eloheinu Yafrihu O Januvun B'Seva Deshenim Veratanim Yehu Lahagin Ki Yashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatabo. And unfortunately, we're skipping Warner's Kaddish. That's the game. The Baruch Tamar? The Baruch? We do. We do the Bachar? The Baruch? I think we do. Okay, that was my question. No. I have to be here in the flesh. Shema? No Shema. I don't see why not, because you can do the Shema. 41? Because you don't need a minion to say the Shema. Right. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavata et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol meodecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele. Asher Anochi Metzavecha Hayom Alavavecha Vishinantam Levanecha Vidibarta Bam Bishiktecha Bevetecha Uvelektecha Vaderech Vishachbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Leot Al Yadecha V'hayulatotofot Beinenecha Ukatavtam Amuzuzo Beitecha Uvisharecha. Okay. This is the Reader's Digest version. You all are old enough to understand what that means. Umachuto baratzan kiblu alechem. Moshe Umrim uvnei Yisrael lachanu shira v'simcha rabba v'yomru kulam michamo. I'm sorry, 44. Michamocha v'oelim Adonai michamocha nedor b'kodesh nohora tehilot o seifele. Malchut acharo vanecha, v'okei hayom lifnei Moshe, ze'eli anu v'yomru, Adonai yimloch Leolam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fadad Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyat chazak b'menu baruch atah Adonai go'al Yisroel. Page 46. Please rise for the Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabbat la'asot et hashabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat la'asot et hashabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Since the Amidah is silent, I think we can do it. Right? Right. Okay. The Amidah starts on page 47. Now that you sat down, we can stand up again. Sorry, Harold. Page 53 at the top of the page. Tell you what, let's do it in English together. How's that on the top of the page of 53? Okay. The heavens and the earth and all they contain were completed. On the seventh day, God finished the work, ceasing from all work on the seventh day. Then God blessed the seventh day, making it holy, for on it God ceased from all the works of creation. And let's do together the last paragraph on the page where it begins with God. God who promised protection to our ancestors and assures life to the dead, the incomparable holy God, desired to give rest to the people Israel, and so provided them with the holy Shabbat. We worship in awe and reverence in God's presence and offer thanks to God's name each day, always. The source of blessings, the master of peace, God to whom all thanks are due, sanctifies Shabbat and blesses the seventh day, providing sacred rest to a people filled with joy, celebrating it as a symbol of the work of creation. And we're going to skip, you may be seated, we're going to skip the Kaddish. Okay. Okay. I do have a sermonette, as I mentioned earlier in jest. This week's portion is Vayetze, and I think we're all, whether we know it or not, pretty familiar with it, actually. We're talking about the life of Jacob. And you know, last week we talked about how he connived with his mother and gypped his brother out of his birthright. And he was then realized, my brother's going to be mad, so he hightailed it out of town. And that's where we are now. He's out of town, and his mother says, go to your uncle's house in the far-off land. So this week is his journey to his uncle's place, basically, and all kinds of things happen. He takes a nap and puts his head on a rock, and in his dreams, he sees a hierarchy of people going up and down, otherwise known as Jacob's ladder in our jargon. So we all know about that story. And then he continues on his way. And he comes to a town, and he's not sure where he is, but he sees there are sheep and goats and all kinds of creatures, and there's a well. And so there's a group of people around the well, and he said, what's going on? And they explain, on this well is a big stone covering it to protect the water. So it takes a bunch of people to move the stone. They can use the water and then to move it back. And while this is going on, he meets who does he meet? Rachel, okay? The beauty of the story. And he falls in love with her. He doesn't realize she's the daughter of his uncle. Dun, 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 dun. And his uncle is not a really nice person, as we know. So Jacob goes and stays with his uncle and falls deeper in love with Rachel. And as that goes on, he's working for his uncle, and for a while, and then the uncle says, well, let me pay you. So what do you want to be paid? So he wants some of the stuff that he's taking care of. And Jacob says, but I want Rachel's hand in marriage. He says, for that, you have to work a bunch of years, actually 7, I think. And we all know about that, the con, right? So Jacob cons his father and his brother, and now Laban is conning him. So payback is very difficult. And so we all know about that story, and then there's a wedding and a wedding night, and that's why women wear the veil to hide who they are, because he found out the next morning that he didn't actually marry Rachel. He married her older sister, Leah, because he didn't lift the veil. So now when we have weddings, the bride wears a veil, but the groom lifts it up and takes a peek of her, because it just might be somebody else. So there's lots of little cons going on in this story. And Jacob is not innocent, but in this case he is. So he finds he's married to Leah, not Rachel. And so he confronts his uncle, and he says, so what's up here? He says, because she's the older one, you had to marry her. If you want the other one, it's another 7 years. Sure. So he said, you can marry her in a week, but you have to work it off for 7 years. So now he has Leah and Rachel, and he's not going anywhere. So now he has 14 years to put in. So during that time, Leah is bearing a bunch of kids to Jacob. Rachel is barren. Rachel says, use my maid. She bears a bunch of sons. Leah bears a bunch of kids. Rachel does not. So finally, Rachel does. And story takes a turn. So Jacob says, okay, life is looking better. I want to leave and take my whole family, Leah's kids and Rachel's kids and all the maidservants' kids, and gather my stuff and leave. So he says that to Laban, and Laban says, no, this is all my stuff. You can't take anything. These are my children, my grandchildren. You can't take any of the animals. They belong to me. So he says, but let's compromise. What do you really need to take? So Jacob says, I'll take the black sheep, not the white sheep. I'll take the spotted goats, not the... So they come up with a deal. And Jacob is holding to this deal, but of course Laban is not, and he starts hiding assets from Jacob. And Jacob gets word of what's happening, and he's furious. So in the middle of the night, he gathers up his clan, his wives, his maids, his children, his stuff. He takes the stuff that he's beholden to, and he vanishes in the middle of the night. I don't know how you do that with all that stuff in a desert, but that's what he did. And it took 3 days. So of course Laban ran after him. When he realized what was happening, it took 3 days for him to catch up with Jacob. And they had it out with each other. And that's where my little sermonette comes in, because Laban says, how dare you leave with my stuff, my children, my grandchildren, leave with all my, animals in the middle of the night and not tell me? How dare you? And Jacob said, what? You've suckered me for all these years. I've helped you. Why should you be mad? So we have these two people who are just yelling and pushing each other's buttons, and each is a little right, each is a little wrong. Laban particularly is not a nice guy in the story, but so they're really venting and angry with each other, and so what happens? Finally, they realize there's an impasse, and they realize two things basically. One is their mishpacha, their family. Why should you fight family? Because family never goes away. You can walk out on your friends. You can never really always walk out on your family. So whether or not they like it, they're connected forever. And basically, they're both tricksters. So they have more in common than they would like to think. And, but through this whole thing, they both realize they've learned things about each other, who they are, their nature. They've learned a lot. So after finally listening to each other's pain and angst, they realize that they're both people and who have hidden things, who have connived things, but they're both people. So they took a breath and decided and came up with a pact. And to mark the occasion, they built a pillar of stones. Now, in the Torah, it says they built a mountain. Between you and me, that didn't really happen. They built a mound of stones that theoretically went up to the heavens, right? And they sat down and had a meal together, which had not happened before. And their families, Laban's families and Jacob's family, all came and had a dinner together. Basically, they broke bread. And when you do that with somebody you don't really like or trust, somehow over the wine and the food and whatever, your emotions leave and you have a kindred spirit. And so they learned how to build a future and respect each other's differences, and they decided to go to their separate corners. And, and I think God smiled on the occasion. And basically, there's a lesson here. In addition to having a soap opera, there's a lesson. And we may not always understand each other. And there's a lot going on in the world now that I totally don't understand. But instead of looking for things that divide us, I think we need to sort of step back, swallow our pride, and really listen to each other. We might not agree on everything, like Laban and Jacob, but we are all humanity. We're mishpacha. And we just really need to listen. And somehow, if we really listen, come to a compromise where we can both be successful and work things through. And we need to learn to trust and respect each other and listen. And every day brings us an opportunity to do that in little ways and in big ways. As individuals, as a congregation, as a country. But I think we just need to do that, to listen, to respect, and to trust. And it was only through doing that that Jacob and Laban learned how to survive in the world, each in his own corner, but surviving nonetheless. So that's my little sermonette and your Reader's Digest version of the Torah portion this week. It's always nice when there's payback, I think. If one conniver connives another conniver, I think that's God's way of evening out the score. Elena, can we do Elena? Why not? Elena was on page 56. Where's Tamar? Is she in the kitchen? Would you get her, Harold? get to Mar. We're going to need her momentarily. There's a lot of conversation. Ah, there you be. There you be. We negotiated, we're going to do Alenu. We can do it before or after. It's up to you. Do you want to open the ark? And then you can do the announcements? Sure, let's do that. And we'll do Alenu, and then you can make announcements as long as you're up here. How's that? All right, page 56. Alenu l'shabeach ladon hakol, l'tev gedula leotzer breshi, shelo asanu k'gayei haratzah, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, v'goralenu k'chol hamanam, hayanachnu korim, u'mishtachavim modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noten shamayim v'yotzer oretz, u'moshav yikara b'shamayim mimal, u'shchinatu zo, v'kov he'meromim, Eloheinu, Eheno, Emet Makenu, Efezuloto, Kapatu, V'torato, V'yadata hayom, V'yodata, Yom Hashemota, Elabavecha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, Bashamayim imal, V'al ha'oret mitachat Eino. Hakatu v'toratecha Adonai yimloch v'yalam ba'et v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo I think I'd.
Announcements.
Here you go. Here you go if you don't have it. You got it?
I got it. My name's on here.
Oh, good.
Shabbos, everybody. Thank you for coming and making our min. No religious school this Sunday.
Huh.
No journey into Judaism this Sunday. The offices will reopen Monday at 10. Every year, we ask our members to host an oneg or a kiddush. If you have a specific date you're looking for, please reach out to Lauren Wiener, ASAP, and she will get you down there. She would like it by Thursday, November 30th. Next weekend, Lord, this year has gone.
I know.
Next weekend is Ethan Gage's bar mitzvah, beginning at 9:30, and then Sunday, the 3rd at 1 o'clock is the tribute luncheon for Michelle Bryn. Tuesday, of course, we have our adult education classes with Fred Leppert at 5:30. If you need the link, contact Siobhan in the office. They're currently looking at the history of modern Israel. Save the date. 12/6, which is a Wednesday, is Age to Perfection. We've got luncheon, raffle, gift exchange. Please RSVP so we know how much food to make. And Rabbi Rose will be coming and doing Hanukkah songs, history of Hanukkah songs, and things like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah. And then 12/9 at 6:30 is the congregational Havdalah Saturday night and Hanukkah party. Come hungry. There will be latkes. Anniversary.
We hope there will be latkes, right, Harry?
Is there something I need to know?
No.
You can't cook between all the lockers in that little bit of time.
Start now. 11/28, happy anniversary to Harold and Barbara Radhan, and also Mike and Mindy Unger. Birthdays, Bill Lasser. Tomorrow is Bill's birthday.
Okay.
And Jacob Fetter is the next day, the 26th. Are you doing yard sites or am I?
I'm not gonna do Kaddish, but you can announce
Okay,
that.
yard sites this week are Max Davison, Eitan Nakdimon, Edward Chenenke, Samuel Goldworth, Martin Stein, Mark Cohen, Anna Kaplan, Alan Eichenbaum,
Mhm.
Harry Keene, and Gertrude Miller. And if there's anybody I missed, contact Siobhan, get your name in. And that's it. You know where to find me if you need me, President, until July.
So quickly it will come. Any other announcements for the good of the order?
Sunday morning, we don't have a time. Sunday morning on December 10th, setting up the booth. The gift wrap.
Right, gift wrap is coming around the corner, and we're working on the schedule, but Sunday morning, the 10th, sounds good.
We've gone from the 10th to the 9th, back to the 10th,
Right,
and do not have a formal time.
okay, well, to be announced, I guess. Right, our clan cannot be there because it's my hubby's birthday, so we have,
Way to celebrate the birthday.
no, all the kiddies are gonna be here, so, for the day. Anyway, but go ahead and look at your calendars. We're going to start operating on the 11th as far as setting everything up and if somebody happens to need something wrapped. But henceforth, from the 11th through the 24th, when they shut them all down, I believe it's now at 6. It used to be at 4. But regardless, at 6 p.m. It used to be 4 p.m. And I know, well, the mall officially closes, the stores close at 6. Okay. But please spread the word about our gift wrap booth. I've happened to mention it to a friend of mine. She's like, oh my God, I need you, and so please help. It is, but I mean, as far as customers, we really need to just spread the word to everybody, as well as looking at our social calendars. Men, women, friends, relatives, whoever are welcome to join us as long as they're 13 and above. Okay, that's the only stipulation. And we do have a lot of men who help, Harold, Harry, lots of men. And so that the proceeds from that support the religious school. So it's a good endeavor. We've done it for about 35 years, and it's a great way to support our religious school. So please tell your friends, tell your spouses, tell your family. A lot of teachers will come the last week and help. So, but please, we really need people power to help. And we're open the hours of the mall. So when those change, but whatever those hours are, we'll be there or be square. And that's my song for tonight. We can close services with Adon Olam, which is on page 211. Any melody somebody would like? I don't olam asher balak, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, li'et nasa behefsa kol, azai melech shemoni kra v'yacharei kiklot hakol. Levado yimlok nara, Vehu hoya, vehu hove, vehu yeh betifara, vehu echad, ve'en sheni. Laham shilo, lahak bira, beli reshit, beli tachlit, velo ha'oz, v'hamisra, vehu eli, v'chai goali, v'tzur chevli b'et sahara, v'hu nisi umanos li, menat kosi b'yom ekra, b'ya'ado avkid ruchi, b'et ishan v'a'ira, v'im ruchi gaviyati, Adonai velo ira. Shabbat shalom. Do we have an oneg? Do we have oneg? Okay. Join us in the Davis Social Hall. We can. We can, but we don't say the prayer for it. So it's up to you. Okay, and I'm going to leave this here. Whoop. Good Shabbos. Thank you.
Hey, email me your little sermon. It was really good.
Oh, well, it was off the top of my head. I read a commentary, but it wasn't word for word. How's that? It was a little smoosh. It was just off the top of my head. I can do that.